Welcome to this introduction video on DNN 9. This is foremost an explanation about this content management system for my English-speaking customers. Most of them have been using DNN 8, so the previous major version of DNN in the past, and now are being transferred to DNN 9. So this will help each one of them to understand how all is working in this new version. So, referring to DNN 8, if you're logged in as an editor, there used to be a so-called admin bar at the top of the page. You can now see that it's gone, and there is another bar, and this time it's on the left-hand side, and it's called the persona bar. It will allow you to use all the features that you're used to, but sometimes they're in a different place than you might expect, so this will help you a lot. As an editor, you will be spending most of your time on the bottom of the left corner, which allows you to edit the page itself. So if you click on the pencil icon once, you will see that the icons that you are used to are visible again. And what's also new is that you can actually see all the panes. So of course these won't be visible to the end user, but for editors it is really easy to understand which panes are being used and what's still available, and the sort order within the pane, etc. So I will be touching that later on. First, let's meet all the functionalities that's hidden in the persona bar. It's all grouped within 3 sections. There's content, which allows you to create, edit, delete pages. There's a recycle bin. There's this icon with the wrench. It's called manage, and it allows you to manage user roles and assets. And of course, if you want to add another site, it's also available. And the last icon won't be available for everyone because it's a prerogative for administrators. So you will find settings for your entire website, security, connectors, and the ability to install extensions. And there's some more stuff if you want to have a deeper dive into the technical stuff of the website. So, to begin with, one of the most important parts of content management is creating pages. So if you just click on pages, there is a new slide over which will allow you to add one or multiple pages. So if I just click on pages and say, well, this is my news page, and here you can have a different title. For instance, if you want to have a different title for Google or descriptions, this is all what you are used to. So if I just add a page, and as usual, if you add a page to the top level, by default it's visible for admins only. And again, if you want to change that, go to the pages, and there's the permissions, and this will allow you to have everyone view that particular page. So in the advanced button there are some more functionalities. The appearance will allow you to switch your theme. So by default it's the Xillion theme, but if you have another theme installed, you can have a certain page look different than the default pages. The SEO, that allows you to have certain URLs in place and to have some more weight for indexing by Google, or even shut off the indexing at all. And more is always a mysterious button, but this allows you to, for instance, disable the page. You won't be touching this a lot. So we change the permissions, we click the save button, and if we now refresh the page, we'll see that it's the alert for admin only has disappeared, and we can do what we want, like editing content. By default, the HTML module is in place in the content pane of all pages. So here is some content, and this works as you might expect from previous versions. Of course, there's still the option to have the quick edit, but what I particularly find a nice feature now is that because we can see all the panes available, if you want to change the location of this module, you're not, of course you can still use this icon to move it around, but if I just hover the mouse on the module, there is this cross and I can just drag it and put it in another pane. So this is another step forward to understanding exactly how things will look for the end user. Okay, so that is adding some content to the default HTML module. Adding a module would be the next step. So what used to be at the top is now here at the bottom. So you can, for instance, select the HTML module and it will hover a bit, waiting for you to make a choice where to place this module. So what I do now is click and drag, and I can drag it to the position where I want it. In this case, it will be the content pane. And as you might have noticed, this was not done with a page refresh, so it's just dropped there, and I can instantly click on the content management. Here could be a banner, for instance, because right now I'm using the HTML module because I have installed nothing else but the default installation. But as you are used to, you can put any module in any pane you want. Adding an existing module, so if I would go to the home page, this is of course the default home page, and if I want to add one of the modules from the news page, I can use the existing module, which is the same icon but with an E. So I click on that. I'm asked to make a choice of the page where I want to have the module from, and let's choose this one, and again I can hover it where I want. So here could be a banner, and if I edit this one, it will be edited for the news as well. One other thing that might be interesting is because I chose make a copy. So what I just said is actually not true because I made a copy. If I remove this checkbox, and now add the module, this is where there is no copy made, but just a reference. And here it says this is a shared module. So here's content, and if I just make a slight change on that, here's some content too, because it's shared content is now changed here as well. And of course you see that, well, every time I change the page, it will go out of the edit mode, which might be annoying if you do a lot of work. If I click another time on that, it will turn blue, which locks the edit mode. So if I now go to home, it will remain in edit mode, as you can see. So what we just did is we added a page, we added a module. Next thing is deleting a page. So if I just hover on these three dots here, you can have multiple choices like adding a page or duplicate, but if I go to the bottom, there's the option to delete. So that is done instantly. And if I want to add pages where the home is the parent page, I can now create a subpage which has the home as a parent page. And it will refresh instantly, and you can see that it has a subpage here. So because I deleted the news page, it is automatically placed in the recycle bin, and you can see that you can recycle or restore pages or modules, so even users, but there's nothing there. If I just check the news page and click on restore, yes, I want to restore that, and here's the news again. And it has been restored, including the modules that were in place, and it has remembered that it is a shared module. So that's it for the content section, where we can do just about anything with pages in a recycle bin. On to manage. Well, if you're familiar with DNN, you're quite aware that users and roles are one of the fundamentals of the DNN CMS. It's really important and really powerful. So for just demo user, and just well, we can create a random password. I'm not going to send it to me, so this is just an easy way to create a user. And next thing is the roles, and if I would create a role, it's demo role, and I'll save that. So what I can now do is have this user I just created and add the role, the demo role. Here it is. Add this to the registered users and subscribers, and now the demo user has the role demo role. And if I would now, for instance, use the settings for the banner, or in fact the text here could be a banner. So this is just a regular HTML module, and I can say, well, it's not for everyone, it's for administrators, of course, and I add this demo role, and the demo role users can view this as well. So now this section is visible for me because I'm an admin, and for anyone in the role demo user. So people who are not in that role will still see this page and still see the shared content here, but not the banner. So this might be very powerful if you want to have, for instance, for your intranet, and you want some update from HRM just for that department. On to the assets. So where there used to be a slight confusion about the file manager, which was available through a host setting or through the host interface and the admin, now it's more clear that there are site assets and global assets. So global assets will mean assets there that are for all sites, and site assets just for this particular website. If you click on that, you will go to the interface that looks familiar, which is actually the Digital Asset Manager, or DAM as it's also referred to. And this can do anything that you are used to. So you can create a folder. Oh, just skip a bit. So you can create a folder, demo, and you can, for instance, view the folder permissions, and you can say, well, again, you can just, it's not for all users. Just administrators and demo role can open files in this folder. So again, this might be very powerful if you are in an intranet environment and you want to create a folder for a project or a department where just certain people or certain groups of people are allowed to view or upload files. So that's for the file manager. That's the most important stuff. Of course, there's the admin logs, which was also known as event viewer or the log viewer. So because this is a fresh installation, it just has some mentions of updated modules, users, stuff like that. If there are any errors, it will show up here as well. Okay, last thing is a bit more technical, but maybe less technical, but you only do most of the things once. So this is your website title, which demo website, for instance, and here's the description that will be shown within Google. Website logo, favicon. These are the usual things that you will use to manage DNN 8 within site settings as well. Site behavior is a new term, and most important stuff is site aliases, because this will determine what website will be available for this instance, and the languages, because let me just add the Dutch language, because this will be Dutch website, and of course this allows you to have the Dutch as the default language. For demo purposes I won't do this now, but this is how it's done. Yes, I'm sure. Let's see what's interesting as well is the SEO settings, because redirect mixed case URLs by default it's off. In my opinion it should be on, but that might be just my opinion. What it does is prevent that one page can occur multiple times, because there are some words with uppercase and some with lowercase. So turning this on will allow DNN to consider these as the same page and prevents Google from considering it duplicate content. Same goes for convert URLs to lowercase, convert accented characters, and here you can choose what happens if people come to a deleted or a disabled page. So you can refer, of course, to 404. You can also refer to a site homepage. I think that's pretty neat that it has improved the usability on this. And these are the most important things for my customers, at least. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give me an email on info@cheps.com, or to put something on a Facebook group, DNN Connect. It's very active and a lot of people willing to help out.